Hello, this is Jeff Byers. Welcome back. This is 8255, and I'm going to show you how to manage your scene files, get everything together. I basically took you through how to bring in the car, get the geometry fixed and the textures, and then I showed you how to bring in the prop assets. We got those scaled and ready to go. I did not scale the car yet, but we'll do that later. And then I showed you how to get your city scene and reuse that and get it to look more like a city scene. So now we're ready to put everything together. So you'll need to create a separate scene file, and I just called my Annie 255 Module 3 Simulation. So I'm going to dump everything in here. Right now you can see nothing is in here. Okay. So to get this to work, I'm going to bring in the city props. Okay, I've got these as an MB file, which is what I want. Copy, and then I'm going to just paste those into the new simulation scene. So let's get the scenes in there. Paste. There's the city props, and then I'm going to bring in the city props source images. So all these need to come in here. So I'm going to go ahead and bring everything in there. Now again, you don't have to bring everything, just bring the textures in that you use, but to save time here, I'm just going to go ahead and dump them in here. That way I can bring in the other FBX pieces, and if I want to use them sometime. So those textures are in there. Sports car, scene, sports car finished. Copy that. And again, I'm just putting everything in so I can manage these a little bit better. So there's the car, and then the sports car textures. I'm going to bring all those in here. Guess I want to change the color of it. Okay, bring that back into simulation. Okay, great. And then we got one more to do. I've got my cityscape in here that I finished. City start. Copy that and paste that in to the scenes. So now I should have all the elements, and with this one here, my city scene, I used all materials. Now I might texture it. I don't know if I'll have time, but you don't need to. These all can be, as long as they have materials on there. So you could literally have a fire hydrant with a red material on it, and you're fine. You're good to go. Okay. I'm not asking you to spend a whole bunch of time UV mapping and texturing everything. If the textures come with the object and they're easy enough to apply the textures to, like I showed you with the car and the props, then why not add those textures? And that's what I want you to do. Just use the textures that come with it if it's easy enough for you to do, and it is. It's not that hard. And then I have fire hydrant that I found that I really like. Not exactly sure where that is, but yeah, fire hydrant finished. That one I liked. I'm going to use that one probably. And go back into my simulation and get that one in there. Alright, so now I've just about finished. Let's get the textures out of there. And this one's harder to find because I got so much junk in here, but it's the fire hydrant. I can find it really quick. There's no such thing as really quick in here. Let's go back into view. Fire hydrant, where are you? Shorten that up a little bit. Hydrant, base color. I think that's it. Let's go ahead and get all of these in here. Copy. Alright, so everything is done now, so we're good to go with that. So now all you have to do is go into your scene This is where I left off. And I'm going to go ahead and go to Set Project. And this should be as easy as this. Let's go ahead and do this. Go File, New. That way we clean everything out. And go File, Set Project. And we're just going to set that project that I just created, put everything in, and now I can go into File, Open. So now you should see all your stuff in here nice and neat and should be easy to open. So I'm going to open up the street scene first. There it is. Perfect. And then from here on out, I'm just going to go into Import. So just Import. And we'll do the sports car first because that one's going to come in really big. Alright, so and there's some things I want to do to this thing, but right now basically there's two parts to this whole thing, and then I left the wheels separate. So it depends on how you want to do all this, but what I would suggest you do, because some of you want to rig this and get the 10 extra points, and you have to problem solve that out. I gave you a video, and you can watch any video you want, but I want that rig, the car rigged, so when you move the car, the wheels rotate, so it looks like it's actually touching the pavement and actually moving. And then you need a steering, you know, when you move the controller, that you rotate the wheels. So the one I gave you is not the end-all one. That one's probably the simplest one to do. But you can find any one you want and just do whatever you want, just as long as you have a car rig that actually works, and you can get 10 extra points for that. You have to problem solve it out. Don't ask me how to create it. Extra credit is always about you problem solving things out on your own. You really should be doing that with assignments too. But if you have questions or concerns, give me an email, and I'll help you as much as I can. So with this, what I would normally do is just go ahead and create a locator, and that's just let's go ahead and hit the 4 key. You can see it. I'm going to scale it up a little bit so you can see it. There we go. So here's my locator, and we're just going to take the car. Alright, and we're going to dump it into the locator. So that car, I'm going to kind of middle mouse button drag it into the locator like that. Now before you do that, Control Z back, I probably want to delete by type history, like center pivot, delete by type history, freeze transformations, and then drag it in. You can see those are center pivot, and this is under modeling tab, center pivot, delete by type history, freeze transformations, and drag and drop these in here like that. That way I can click on the locator and I just call that car, and I can go ahead and scale that down to whatever size I want. Now if I go by this scene, a car usually is about 18 feet long, a medium-sized car. I measured my car outside, so let's see, 18 feet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. And that's about 18 to 20 feet is about right. Does that look about right? That's pretty close. So 18 feet. Let's go back into the car. I think we're pretty close to that. And the car width is about 6 feet, so let's go ahead and bring that down a little bit. Okay, whoop. Scale that down to where it's about 6 feet, so 6.5 feet. So 1, 2, 3, that's about right. Oops. Okay, there we go. Okay, how does that look to the scale of the door? Yeah, that looks about right. Let's hit the 5 key. Yeah, that looks about right. So 6.5 cars are usually about 6.5 feet wide. I looked it up. So that's about right. So that's good. So what you do is you just bring the rest of your pieces in, and like I'm going to do, and you can set them up any way you want. So I'm going to pause the video. You can see what I come up with. Okay, we're back, and this is what I've got so far with the props that I have. Of course, you set dress it any way you like, and just as long as you have the fire hydrant and 4 other props. Okay, as you can see here, I've got them all in there. And you got at least 2 buildings, a sidewalk, and a road, and your car. And so now you're ready to get started with animating your car, setting up your simulation, and all that you're going to do yourself. I'll have an end product that you can look at, an example, what I did, and you'll have to problem solve all the issues that you may have with getting the particles to work. Now, if all else fails, right, if all else fails, get your particle simulation, get that turned in so you can get at least partial credit. And if you do finish your scene and you can't get the particle system to actually work with your scene, go ahead and get it animated. I will consider I'll take in consideration all the work that you put into it. But again, minimum 40 points, car, get this all set up, and the car crashes into this, knocks it over, and whatever you end up doing with your animation, that's fine. It's actually going to be a lot of fun. Try to be serious. Try to get it the animation as nice as possible, as realistic as possible, and then the particle simulation. Follow the tutorial that I have set out for you. Watch that and just follow that tutorial on how to use a volume emitter, and watch that video, and you should be able to get everything all set up. Okay. If you get it all set, if you can't get collisions to work, that's just one little part that you get some points off. It's not the end of the world. What you can do, and this is what I tell most of my students, simulation is very finicky, and particle simulation and collisions is very finicky. So if things aren't working, you can do a replacement like we talked about before, and then make them invisible after you do your simulation. Make them invisible, and it'll look like it's actually making contact with that object. How you create that that replacement is up to you. You can use all kinds of tools to create that. You can use a flat plane and just move the vertices around, or you can use the quad draw tool, right? Just research all that stuff and do it. Now the moving points, you guys can do all that. Some of you that have used quad draw, it's pretty slick tool. Just remember that you have to make the object live to do that. All right. So have fun. If you do rig your car, I'm not grading it for you, so you could have this car moving and there's no rig to it, and you won't get points off. Okay. The only points off you'll get is if you did not animate the car crashing into the fire hydrant in a realistic manner, and then the particles spitting out. That's when points would be getting taken off. Or you didn't give me the 4 props and the fire hydrant, and you didn't give me more than 1 building, and you didn't make it look like a street scene. So this is your example to get. This is your example for all the props. Okay. All right. Awesome. Okay. Enjoy. Have fun, and good luck with everything. And I can't wait to see you guys' work. It'll be fun.